I say it must be pretty rare that you're going to be interviewing somebody while you are sitting in a room that is named for him, but that's what we're going to do right now because Jim Ellis, who is the longtime radio voice of Mississippi State baseball and also has been part of many other their athletics broadcasts over the years, is joining us now, and I'm sitting in the Jim Ellis broadcast suite on the visitor side at Dudy Noble Field. So this feels a little bit odd, Jim. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. You're taking good care of the place, aren't you?
At least the visiting side. It's up to you to take care of the home side just fine. But then again, I know you got to deal with Coach Ron Polk during home broadcast this year, and that's got to be a little different and a lot of fun, too.
It's been fun. It's been different. I think Coach is adjusting to being a broadcaster, as he says, but I think he relishes it. I think he's enjoying it. He does about half the games. Jay Powell, who is a former Bulldog player, played in the big leagues for about 8 or 9 years, is doing the other games with me. But it's been interesting with Coach Polk on. Of course, I have a long. I've known Coach Polk since 1979, and he's certainly been one of the icons of Southeastern Conference baseball.
Yeah, and it must be so interesting to have called a head coach's games for all those years, and then after a long period, end up becoming a broadcast partner with him. And it's also, you guys were part of the way this place was built into what it is now. So, and we've got a huge series. It feels like I know that Dudy Noble Field was built for super regionals and built for every SEC weekend, but it really feels like this place was built to showcase a series of a 1 versus 2 or a 2 versus 3, depending on which publication. And here you go. You got your first one this weekend.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, it's going to be probably not the crowd you would normally have. I think, although they're selling more tickets now, they're still on a somewhat limited basis. But it'll be a nice crowd, and evidently we're going to get pretty good weather. It looks like we are. We've had some rain games, but it looks like maybe we won't have this weekend. Hopefully not. And so it should be a great series. It's been an interesting series over the years. I've always enjoyed going to Fayetteville. It's a tough place to play, but it's got great facilities there, and we have great facilities here at Dudy Noble. So 2 good teams, and as you mentioned, a good venue, and a lot of excitement. Anytime you got a couple of teams both ranked in the top 5 in the country, it's a pretty big weekend baseball-wise. Yeah, and both teams coming off series wins and to start the SEC schedule, and then blowout wins in the middle of the week. And of course, these teams saw each other, though they didn't play each other the first weekend of the season in Texas. But Mississippi State is actually quite a bit different from that first weekend. I know that the kid who was starting at third base that weekend is no longer with the team, so they're already down a third baseman. I think they were ready to move him out of the lineup, and so Arkansas has been a little more consistent as far as the starters are concerned. What happened with the third baseman, and how have the Bulldogs covered that? Well, I think what really happened, the starting shortstop at the start of the year was Cameron James. And Cameron's probably one of the top 3 hitters on the ball club. This is a little bit of a heavy left-handed hitting lineup. Certainly a guy that you wanted to keep in the lineup. He was having some struggles at shortstop. So the basic thing was to move him to third base. And waiting in the wings was a young man who is really a good defensive shortstop. Wasn't sure how he would hit as a freshman, and really hoping, I think, to redshirt him this year, but decided to make that move, and he has been really good at shortstop. He's played a sound defensive shortstop, and surprisingly, he's hitting well over 300 right now, so he's not only contributed in the field to plate, and Cameron James looks like he's more comfortable at third. He's swinging the bat well, and I think that it wasn't a situation of a young man at third base playing himself out of the lineup. I thought he was playing good and solid baseball, but it was just the fact of it's one of those tough coaching decisions you have to make sometime. You have a left-handed heavy lineup. You've got a left-handed hitting third baseman. You move your shortstop, who's a right-handed hitter, over there. You get another right-handed hitter in the lineup, and Forsythe, who's a freshman shortstop. And it's just one of those things that happen. But I think that and the fact that the pitching staff is so much different. That's opening weekend in Arlington. We didn't have either Eric Sarantola or Will Bednar. Sarantola's had some struggles, but Bednar has come along, and he has pitched really well. He pitched a good enough start against LSU, had 5 really solid innings in that ball game. So, we feel good about that part of it. I think probably you guys are in the same situation we are. We have like 25 pitchers on the staff. I think 23 of them have pitched. And then what the problem has been just getting enough of them innings so that you can get them ready for SEC play through 10 guys in the midweek game that we played on ended up on Wednesday night. But that's been the biggest problem, I think, for a lot of teams is getting pitching ready because you have so many pitchers available on your staff.
Well, Arkansas has used 20 pitchers, and it's amazing to think that you guys have used 23. But Arkansas's team ERA, Jim, is 3.8. That's near the bottom in the SEC. Mississippi State holds the second best ERA in the nation, 2.3. And even if you count the unearned runs, they're only allowing 2.7 runs per game. The amount of depth of success to start this season is kind of ridiculous for this team. And, only allowing one base runner per inning. That's why for me, the pressure in this series is on the Arkansas pitching staff to sort of match what Mississippi State has been doing to most of their opponents this season.
Oh, very interesting, those matchups. I look at the two ball clubs, and even though you mentioned the stats, I think that certainly Arkansas has depth of pitching and has quality starters and all of the things that you need in an SEC program. And I look at both ball clubs, and I look at their offensive lineup. Both ball clubs have a number of quality hitters, but not guys that are at the top of the league stats right now. I looked at the league stats, and you look at the top 10 in almost every category, and you find just a sprinkling of Mississippi State, Arkansas, but certainly not a lot of guys in those stats. So these are two teams that are probably fairly well balanced. And I think that the one thing that is the glaring difference right now, Arkansas is the best fielding team in the league, have a superb fielding percentage, and seem to be making all the plays defensively. Mississippi State has had some struggles in those areas. I do think they're cleaning it up a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Maybe the last 2 weeks they have shown some ability to shore up some of those things. I don't think there's any reason this team shouldn't be a solid defensive team, but certainly Arkansas has been superior in that area to this point of the season.
One of the things that's so amazing about the recent success for Mississippi State is that it's come under three different coaches, and really four. When you look at Gary Henderson just taking them to the College World Series as an interim head coach, and Arkansas's success. Dave Van Horn's in his 19th year. It's been steady, and it's been the same head coach. Chris Lemonis is in his third season at State. Now he took Indiana, as I understand, to the College World Series, which is a huge achievement. How's he any different from any of the recent head coaches?
Well, he's very organized. He's a guy who I think really connects with his players, and I think he really understands the game. But he's hired a good staff. He has a good staff. Scott Foxall, excellent pitching coach. He kept Jake Gautreaux on as the hitting coach, and Jake had done a fine job and continues to do a fine job in that area. And then he brought Kyle Cheeseborough with him, who he particularly centers on the catchers. He's a third base coach, works for the hitters also. But he's got an excellent staff. He's got a good analytical staff, people who look at the analytics. Mississippi State has a pitching lab. They have all of the analytical equipment that you need on the hitting side. They're a team that I don't think that they'll go overboard, but they are very analytically minded in some of their approaches, and they take that in old school baseball and sort of put it together. I think Coach Lemonis, one of the things, he's a personable guy. He connects with his players. He connects with his coaches. He treats everybody fairly. And I just think there's a good, in the clubhouse atmosphere, if you say, that gives this team a chance to really be when you talk about team, a bunch of guys that are pulling for each other and trying to get the job done. So the culture of the ball club, I think, is conducive to winning baseball in this league.
I'll close it up with just the experience of coming to a game here at Dudy Noble Field, because I've been here for two series. The last weekend of the 16 regular season, when you guys clinched the regular season championship, that was at the old park, and I remember, Jim, I saw a fireball shoot out past from a grill in right field in the middle of a game with a fly ball in the air. I've never seen anything like that before. Then we were here when it was a construction site, and that was an experience in and of itself. And and Arkansas got swept in both of those series. The home team has been the sweep team for the last 4 series. But my real question is, what are my chances of seeing another fireball come out from the new left field lounge during the game at some point? Because that almost blew my head off when I saw that in 16.
Well, I missed that. We've had some strange things happen, but for the most part, I think the atmosphere is good here. I think that stadium does a good job of trying to make sure that things are in order. I think that the numbers are more limited now as far as those that can be in the stadium, so that's going to probably tone down that atmosphere a little bit. But there is a good, certainly, home field advantage for our ball club here. I know it is for the Razorbacks when they are in Fayetteville at Bone Stadium. So I think that what surrounds the ball clubs certainly is a factor. I think home field advantage is a factor in this league. I think it is a factor at Mississippi State. I think it's definitely a factor at Arkansas and a number of other schools. So that plays a part of it. I think sometimes teams just play better on their home field because of the comfort level and also because they understand the ballpark maybe better than the opponent does. But I look for great baseball. I know that the home team, though, has had the advantage. I noticed in the 4 series before, and as you mentioned, there have been 4 consecutive home sweeps by the two ball clubs. But it was 2 out of 3 for each of the ball clubs in the earlier part of the 2000s. So it's interesting. Home club has certainly had the advantage, it seems like, in this series. But it hasn't always been that way. I can remember going to Arkansas and winning games, and I can remember the Razorbacks coming in here and winning games. So it's certainly been that way recently, but it's not been a constant thing over the years between these two ball clubs.
Well, the last time Arkansas won a series here in Starkville was 2012. We'll see if it happens over the weekend. And, Jim, I've been looking forward to this series, this very weekend series, for 2 years. So I am so excited to finally be able to do it and see you when you show up at the Jim Ellis broadcast suite later on this afternoon. Jim, thanks for your time.
Sure, Phil. Good to be with you, and you guys take it easy in the booth there. I think there are plenty of drinks back behind, so enjoy that, and we'll look forward to seeing you this afternoon.
You got it. I'll leave all the Coca-Cola and the Sprite, some of it, maybe a little bit of it for you. Hey, we're brought to you by our friends at Pradco Outdoor Fishing Lures. They make the famous Yum Dinger in Fort Smith. This is what is going to help you catch all those largemouth bass that are spawning right now at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and all over Oklahoma. They're made in Fort Smith by Pradco in 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, and 6-inch sizes. They're in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the United States and the world, and should be in your tackle box too. You'll find the Yum Dinger at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LordNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. Get with us, 877-377-6963. Alexander Dumas of the Week ×2 is next.